Let's start familiarizing UiPath Studio interface and basic concepts. Later in the lesson, we will create a simple desktop automation. The way we set up the lessons is by working with examples. We believe this will be an effective way of learning UiPath, just like any new software. I know your time is important, so this is the fastest way to learn it. Workflow Designer. UiPath uses a visual way of setting up automation. You can use it to model processes of your business operations. This is a great way to set up automations with few or no knowledge about programming. The workflow is represented by flowcharts and diagrams. You probably heard about these terms before. UiPath provides you an easier way to set up your automation using boxes and shapes for different purposes. As you see in our example, our workflow is composed of these boxes and diagrams. These boxes represent each activity. The arrow indicates the order of the execution, and this orange triangle, it lets you branch the workflow depending on different inputs. Activities. On the left side pane, we have the activities box. Activities are pieces of actions you can add in your workflow, like clicking the OK button or typing a text in an input box. Adding activities into our workflow is as easy as dragging and dropping into a designer workspace. An easier way to add activities into your workflow is by using this record button. This will automatically add activities based on the actions you have taken on your desktop applications during the recording. There are also complex data wizard, but let's talk about that later as we go along. Okay, enough of the talking. Let's go and try to make an app demo that will display a message on the screen. Let's start by clicking the File menu. Go to New and click the blank workflow. Let's give it a proper name. Let's name it Hello Brownie. Why did I choose the name? Well, because that's my pet's name. Okay, now this will gives you this initial workflow. Let's remove this default sequence. You can right click on it and delete it, or you can just click on it and press delete on your keyboard. In the activities box, let's find message box. Let's drag and drop it in our workflow. As you can see, this is one of the many pre-configured activities that you can use. Let's double click on it so we can put our message. This is what we call an expression editor, and everything we put inside the expression editor is called an expression. Take note of that because I'll be talking a lot about it from now on. You notice that I am enclosing it inside a quotation? That's because we are putting a string value to a variable. Let's go back to our main workspace so I can explain it further. Why do we need a variable? When we assemble workflows, there are many times that we need to pass data from one activity to another. In UiPath, this is accomplished by using variables. Think of a variable like a box where you can put some stuff in it, only that we can put specific types in this box, like I can only put shoes in it, or just oranges, or just apples. So we put label on these boxes. That label is what we call a variable name. That way, we would be able to identify what's the value inside it. A variable is a storage location for data and has an associated name and contains a value. A variable also has a type, meaning that only certain kinds of values can be stored in it. Okay, let's put it in an example. Let's create a variable named Brownie Bars. And yes, your variable should not include special characters, so spaces between words are not allowed. Let's select string as the type, and let's give it value, arf, let's say. Now we can go back to my message box and change my original text into a variable called Brownie Bars. UiPath automatically gives you suggestions based on saved variables in your workflow. Let's go ahead and run it. From the Execute tab, click Run. So there, it displays a string stored in a variable called Brownie Bars. In the next video, we'll talk about passing data from one activity to another by using variables. Stay tuned.